This podcast brought to you by Ring. With Ring cameras, you can check on your pets from anywhere, right from your phone. That means it's easy to catch them in the act.
Izzy, put that down.
Keep them company.
Aw, I'll be home soon.
And show them some love.
Such a good girl.
Make sure they're okay while you're away with Ring. Learn more at ring.com/pets. That's ring.com/pets.
What are you looking forward to eating while in Paris is the next question. Well, there are many dining halls. The main dining hall is like massive, but before racing, I'll just eat what I normally eat. And honestly, I feel like the food will be a little bit less adventurous than in Japan. Like there was like ramen and sushi and that kind of stuff. But obviously in the morning, I'll eat oatmeal toast. Duh. Post racing, I'll eat a lot of baguettes, but I would eat a baguette anywhere. Welcome to The Other 3 Years, a show for anyone who has an Olympic-sized dream they want to turn into a reality. Hi, and welcome to The Other 3 Years podcast. My name is Kristi Wagner, and this is a very special pre-Olympics episode. I'm recording this a little bit early because I am about to go to Paris for the Olympics. And while I do really enjoy doing the podcast, I don't really want to be worrying about other things while I'm there. So the team and I thought it would be fun to answer a few questions and just chat a little bit about the Olympics. And I literally race the day after this episode comes out. So to start things off, if you want to watch the racing, I believe it's on like NBC, Peacock, also like World Rowing, US Rowing. All of those places are good places to head for results, live streams, times, all of that stuff. I actually already know the schedule of my races. Again, I'm racing in the women's double. If you follow World Rowing on Instagram, they have done a really good job kind of previewing all of the events and laying out like what all the different schedules and stuff are. So that's been like super helpful. For the women's double, our heats are on Saturday at noon Paris time. The repechage would be on Sunday the 28th. The semis would be on Tuesday, July 30th. And then the finals, the B final and the A final, are on Thursday, August 1st. So racing Saturday to Thursday, but the racing is Saturday to Saturday, I believe, and all of the boats are on like different programs. So there should be tons of great racing. The US is in almost every event, so lots of really awesome rowing to watch. So head over to like World Rowing. US Rowing will be doing write-ups of everything. Row 2K also has been doing previews of every event, who you need to watch, what you need to know, all of that stuff. And then also in the US, like all the stuff is streamed on NBC and Peacock. For my own race and how I'm feeling, definitely good, excited, nervous, obviously. It's a big deal. We're still in Italy until Monday, the 22nd, I think. And then we'll fly to Paris and go through team processing and then, start our final prep. Now is such an interesting time. Like really, we've done everything that we need to do. And it's just about, keeping on a really level head and just keeping the vibes really good. I personally am just working on, keeping my anxieties at bay and not letting little weird things get the best of me. I think that's true for everybody. So just sort of trying to enjoy it also, because it is supposed to be fun and it is supposed to be cool. And it is fun and cool. I'm so excited for, all of my family and friends that are coming over. I'm really excited, like just for them to get to go to the Olympics. I think it'll be so awesome and fun. I'm not going to get to see any of them, until racing is done, but really just excited that they're going to be there and that they're going to get to experience all of the stuff. Like, of course, the rowing, but also going to other sports and just being in Paris and getting to experience all of that. So I'm going to live vicariously through them for the first, week or so, and then hopefully get to see everyone when racing is over. And before I kind of jump into these questions that the team and I and everyone came up with, I really just wanted to use this opportunity to thank everyone. I really am amazed at so many people listen to the podcast. It's so nice. And even people that don't, so many people have supported me beyond this quadrennial, but also especially in this quadrennial. I feel like I've had a tremendous amount of support, and I just feel really lucky to get to chase my dreams and get to give everything to, a goal. And I think it's really cool to feel like you have no stone unturned and you've made the most of the opportunity presented. And that's truly how I feel about my rowing career, but also just especially this quadrennial. I've done everything that I think I could have done, and I couldn't have done that alone. And so it's, my family, of course, my friends, but also, all of the support of all of the rowing organizations that I've been a part of, namely Saratoga and Orion, but I've been sort of a guest just a guest, not a star, at a lot of other high performance clubs, a lot of other teams, a lot of boathouses. A lot of people have, made it possible for me to train and given me coaching and equipment and friends to go hard against. And I feel really, really grateful for all of that. Not to mention, all of the monetary support that people have given, all of the, PT, massage, Liz, our registered dietitian. There's just been so many people. I am forgetting 8 million people. And I know that everyone on the team feels that way. There's just so many people. It wouldn't be possible without literally tons and tons of people. So yeah, it just feels really, really awesome. And this time it's so much more exciting because so many of those people are going to be there. So we get to kind of share the experience with them, which is really cool. So now I'm just going to jump into these questions. First question is, what have you done or experienced in the last 3 years outside of rowing that you think has helped you get to this Olympics? What has had an impact on you that might make this experience different? I'd say one of the biggest differences for the last 3 years for me was that I've had a really consistent job working as a regatta director for Saratoga Rowing. And I think having just that stability and also being a coworker with a lot of people and a part of an organization, but also really in charge of my own schedule and having a lot of autonomy over my own time and what I'm doing. It's made, first of all, just financially, my life a lot less stressful because I've had a dependable source of income that I can just count on and be able to set up my life in a way where I'm not money stressed constantly, which I'd say when I was more a club level athlete before I'd made the national team, that was a really big stress in my life. It's also just been really fulfilling to be able to do things outside of the sport. And I think it's just made things big picture for me. Of course, at times it's been stressful and I've been I don't want to do this, but I'd say overall it's been so fun. And I feel it's been a really cool way to sort of get to give back a little bit as well, because we create these events for people that love rowing. It's not for elite rowing. And I think I really like that it's not we only care about the top people. We only care about the best people. It's really we care about the sport and we care about the experience. And I love the people that are just doing it recreationally. I love the kids that it's their first race ever, the adult rowers that come just because they love it. That's really cool to me. And I think just what makes it, I don't know, full circle seems cheesy, but yeah. Obviously the other big change has been, the new system that US rowing is under, and I'm much more part of the system. The small boats are much more part of the system, and that's also been really nice because I have, I feel the national team as this whole team that I am a part of. Technically, I guess I was a part of that before, but it didn't really feel like it, and now it definitely does. And it's not that I didn't want my national team teammates to do well before, but it was almost I didn't care because I didn't really know them and I hadn't really watched the process. So that maybe sounds weird to say. Of course, I wasn't rooting for their failure. It's just I didn't have anything invested because I didn't know them. But now I have that invested and I've gotten to train alongside them, and that's just so cool. And I feel like it's really cool that now we can just exist as this big team and not just individual boats. I think that's really fun. The next question is, has being on Team USA made you more of a patriot, however you define it? What does it mean to you to represent your country and by extension, all of us? Does it feel like an honor, privilege, burden, or not really a thing? This is a really interesting question. I'm not sure it's made me more of a patriot, however I define it. Although, of course, my mind goes to the New England Patriots because I'm from Boston. I think it just is something I don't take lightly. I think that's because I have, a lot of family that's in the military. So to me, like, those are the people that represent our country, and I am just doing a silly little sport. But obviously I do have USA written on every article of clothing, and, it's cool to stand there and hear them announce like United States of America. That's a really cool thing. I have a feeling that like if we did win a really big race and they did play the national anthem, that would be like a very big deal for me. I do think that I am proud to be an American. Obviously, I'm not going to get into like the political situation in our country, but it's a really weird time to exist in this country, probably in a lot of the world, but I only live in America. So, I don't know. I think it's something I don't take lightly, but it's also not something like, I don't think that suddenly I'm more important than other people. But of course, like, I want to represent the country well, and I want to do well because that's important to me. It just kind of feels like maybe a little bit of a privilege, but not like a massive deal, I'd say. Something I don't take lightly, but something that I don't stay up at night thinking about. The next question is, are you going to the opening ceremony? Unfortunately, I am not going to the opening ceremonies. They're the day before rowing starts, was the day before my first race. And I think at the opening ceremonies, you have to stand for a really long time. You're there for like ever. You don't get back until the middle of the night. So I am just going to hang out in the village and maybe watch some of it on TV. I think it is cool that it's on boats in the Seine. That's pretty cool. But unfortunately, I will not be there. That's not something that really makes me that upset, though. I don't know. Maybe that's a weird thing. Some people, I think, are really into going to the opening ceremony. I don't know, not one of them. I care a little bit more about the competition. The next question is, are you going to get to watch competitions in other sports while you are there? What other sports are you excited about? So yes, we are going to get to watch competitions in other sports after we are done racing. The Olympics is 2 weeks long. Rowing is all in the first week. So during the second week, we'll get to watch other sports, which is super cool. I'm pretty excited for whatever, I think track and field seems really cool. Like, we're going to go to a soccer game, which will be super fun. And then I think some of the more like niche sports will be cool too. Oh, I also think it'd be really fun to go to events of people that have been on the podcast. So I'm definitely going to try to do that and see them because, there's a little bit of a personal connection there. But I'd say that there's really not a sport that I'm not excited about. The next question is, have you gotten any swag yet? Swag is a hilarious word. Have I gotten any free stuff, any of the gear? We did get our US Rowing gear. So US Rowing is sponsored by 776. We got our rowing kit before we left, which is really awesome. We've also gotten a bunch of gifts from different companies, which is really nice. Smartwool gave us some stuff. Oh, we got these Stanley water bottles, which is cool. Oh, we got computers from Samsung and Intel. All people on the Olympic team got those. Oh, I got some sunscreen. That was very exciting. I might be forgetting something, but yeah, it's really nice when people gift us stuff. It's super cool. But then once we get to Paris, we'll go through team processing where we'll get all of the Nike and Ralph Lauren kit, as well as like Oakley sunglasses. There's Skim stuff. I think there's like some hats and that kind of thing. So, and that's when we get fitted for opening, closing ceremonies outfits, the podium outfits, all of that stuff. So we'll get most of the gear once we arrive at the Olympics. What are you looking forward to eating while in Paris is the next question. Well, there are many dining halls. The main dining hall is like massive, but before racing, I'll just eat what I normally eat. And honestly, I feel like the food will be a little bit less adventurous than in Japan. Like, there was like ramen and sushi and that kind of stuff. But obviously in the morning, I'll eat oatmeal toast. Duh. Post racing, I'll eat a lot of baguettes, but I would eat a baguette anywhere. It's funny. Like, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen after racing, but my mind is mostly just on racing. So I don't really have great answers to any of these questions, even though I did try to think about them before. I'm up for whatever. But if you have good recommendations, let me know. There's like tons of good food in Paris, so I'm sure I'll be eating very well. The next question is also about food, a little bit more specific. Are you excited to have a chocolate chip cookie croissant? And are you going to have one pre-racing or wait until you're done racing? I am excited to have a chocolate chip cookie croissant. I'm sure everyone has seen them on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I feel like it's a viral thing. So I am excited to have one of those. I love croissants. I love chocolate chip cookies. What could be better? I probably will wait until I'm done racing, especially because I feel like I'm going to have to go out of the village and like explore to have that. And I feel like I'll wait until we're done racing to do that. The next question is, if you could guarantee meeting one celebrity athlete, who would it be? So I did see these questions before and I did get to think about this. And I've decided it's Coco Gauff. I just feel like she's super cool. I love tennis. I would love to meet her. I feel like she's a really nice person. I don't know why I think that, but I feel like she just must be. I'm sure she doesn't listen to the podcast, but if she does, Coco, so excited to meet you in Paris. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited to meet everybody. It'll be fun this time to actually talk to people. We are living in a room with the lightweight women's double and then also 2 beach volleyball players and 2 taekwondo athletes. So that'll be cool that we'll meet people from other sports in our room. Yeah, just excited to meet everyone. And now there are a few questions about more like racing stuff. First one is, do you have butterflies in your stomach? I'd say no, but I am nervous, but I don't have butterflies. I probably wouldn't have that until like the day of the race. And it's definitely mostly for racing. Like, I'm not really nervous to go into the village. That's exciting and fun, and I think it'll be super cool. But like, I'm mostly nervous for the racing, just because, you know, it's a big deal and there's high stakes. I'm excited, not really super nervous yet. We're also still like in training, so kind of the ups and downs of training, nervousness. Like on piece day, you're a little bit more nervous. Steady state day, a little less. So we're still just sort of in that routine. I'm sure as we get closer to racing, it sort of builds a little bit. The next question is, do you meditate? Yeah, I always meditate. Haven't more recently. I've been doing it for a while. I use the app Headspace. My best advice during meditation is just do your own thing, what makes sense to you. I like using the app and doing guided meditations, but also like sometimes they're like, oh, don't lay down. I lay down. I don't know. Is the Headspace police going to come and get me? I'm not really sure. There's tons of different stuff you can do. Like there's guided meditations, not guided meditations. I think the important thing about meditating is like, this is how I always think about it. And I have to credit Kat because he was the person that gave me this visualization. And it's literally what I think about in terms of meditation all the time. If you've ever been to like a pool resort where they have one of those waterfalls that kind of comes down from like rocks on the side of the pool and you can like swim under it. So you're under the waterfall, but then you can also kind of go behind the water. So you're just kind of looking at the water in front of you. So that's kind of what meditation is like. Sometimes in life we're under the water and the water is like bombarding us and it's everywhere. And then we just like take a step back. And so nothing changes about the water. It's still there and it's still flowing and it's still as hard as it was. But we've just kind of removed ourselves from the situation. So we're just watching it and looking at it and we're not getting bombarded and overwhelmed by it anymore. And that's kind of what I think meditation is like. You're not going to stop having the thoughts or the anxieties or whatever. You're just able to like take a step back and be like, all right, I had that thought and I'm just going to let it happen and move on. I think it's been helpful for me. I'd recommend it. Headspace is good. I think they're actually also an Olympic sponsor, so props to them. The next question is about visualization. What have you visualized going into the next few days? We're still a little bit out from racing, so haven't done tons of visualization, but I do visualize the race a little bit. Just, you know, what I want the race to be like for us, when our moves are, what our race plan is, that kind of thing. Just like walk through in your mind. We do some like on the water visualization as well, race walkthroughs, which is also really helpful. Again, like I think it should be whatever you want it to be. Some people love visualization. They do it all the time. Some people, it's definitely a little bit less so. The next question is, knowing what you know now, would you do it all again? I'm pretty sure that this question is in reference to the past 3 years since the last Olympics. And it's funny, like, yes, I would do it again because I'm really happy that I've done it and I'm happy to be here and I'm super excited about the opportunity that we're about to have. But like every individual thing, I don't know if I would like wish that upon myself or anyone else. Like a lot of not great things have happened and they've been really hard and like tested me a lot. but you can't just erase the bad parts of life. That's like not how it works. And I think I've learned a lot about myself and like who, is really important in my life and what kind of person I want to be and what kind of person I am. So I don't think that I would change that. It's just like, feels weird to be like, oh yeah, would totally love for all of these things that happened to happen again, because that's obviously not true. And it's been really hard. And right now it seems all like rainbows and daisies. And I think that's how it's supposed to be, but it hasn't been that way all year. And I think a few different choices could have resulted in like a very different year for myself. And that's just something that like I live with, and that's totally fine because we all make decisions that we live with. If the question is in reference to, am I going to row for another quadrennial? I don't really know, and probably not. I'm leaning more towards the side of no, but it feels really weird as well to say that the Olympics is like my last race ever. So I'm somewhere in the middle of there, but I don't think that's what the question was asking. The last question is, at this time, you don't know your result. Do you think your result will matter in how fulfilled you feel? I don't think so. I think that I feel very fulfilled that I've done everything I could have done to set myself up for success. And I think like at the end of the day, the only way I'll be disappointed is if we don't have the effort in the race that like we want to have. I think if we have the race we want to have and other people are better, like that's a reality you have to accept. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that our better is better. But I think that's where like feeling upset comes from, is when knowing that you didn't have your best performance on that day when it really mattered. I feel really confident that we're going to be able to like have the race we want to have. And I think as long as we do that, I'll feel fulfilled kind of no matter what the result is. I mean, of course, like I hate losing. I love winning. I want to do really well. Of course I do. And like so many people have given time and energy and money and into me and into us and into the whole team. And I want to make all those people proud. I want to make all of my family proud and my friends that are coming. Like that's extra pressure, but like, do I think they'll love me even if we don't do well? Of course I do. I'm not stupid. So yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed hearing thoughts I have, and watch the Olympics, not just rowing, watch all of it. It's so fun. I'll be back next week with another episode that I'm going to pre-record as well. And then I'll be back after for a wrap-up episode. But to end the show this week, I'm going to share a quote that Kat shared in the Orion quotes. And it's from Kobe Bryant. Obviously, it's very sad that Kobe Bryant died. He's a bit of a controversial figure, but this is a good quote. So thanks, Kat, for doing my homework for me. Kobe says, "I wasn't scared of missing, looking bad, or being embarrassed. That's because I always kept the end result, long game, in my mind. I always focused on the fact that I had to try something to get it, and once I got it, I'd have another tool in my arsenal. If the price was a lot of work and a few missed shots, I was okay with that. I never felt outside pressure. I knew what I wanted to accomplish and knew how much work it took to achieve those goals. I then put in the work and trusted in it. Besides, the expectations I placed on myself were higher than what anyone expected from me." So, thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye. I'd love to hear from you, so send us a topic suggestion, or if you'd like to submit a question for our Ask Kristi Anything segment, head to our website, theother3years.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Other 3 Years podcast, part of the Bright Sided Network.